Welcome to Autism in Black Live. We are rooted in advocacy, not fear, rooted in truth, not stigma. Here, we center Black autistic voices, uplift Black families, and build spaces that are affirming, unapologetic, and full of joy. Whether you are a parent, professional, or autistic adult, this is your space. Together, we break down barriers and build up community. So grab your seat at the table. We're just getting started. Welcome, everyone. I am Maria Davis Pierre, licensed mental health counselor and the CEO and founder of Autism in Black. And I am here with my lovely husband.
What's going on, everybody? Yours truly, Dr. Davis Pierre, co-founder of Autism in Black, COO, CTO, C whatever that needs to be done for Autism in Black.
Yes, and we're excited because we're starting this new series for you all, and it's called Vision to Venue Series, Road to Autism in Black 2026. So it's kind of the behind the scenes work of what we do up into day of conference. You can explain a little bit more, my love.
Yeah, no, I think it's one of the many questions that we got since we've started, the conference series, right? Since day one, conference number one was, one, why we did it, and more importantly, the how. Because we know a lot of entrepreneurs that want to have their own virtual conference, in-person conference, and just the thought of it is such a hurdle for them that they're like, all right, I don't even think I can do it. And because, again, we're on year number 6 now, which is amazing every time I think about it. We're year number 6. We're in year number 6, second year of our in-person version of the conference, that we thought, you know what, instead of doing all the stuff we do kind of in the shadows, right? Like, let's kind of bring a little bit to light, because we know that, like, our entrepreneurs, friends out there who should be doing virtual conferences, virtual webinars, in-person conferences, if they see, like, okay, you know what, like, I kind of see the steps of how Marie and Barry do it, maybe I'm ready to dive in. So that's really been a big origin of this series. And of course, as we prepare for our 6th annual conference, I say, you know what, let's just record it. There's, Gary Vee talks about this all the time. You kind of have to document, right? And people won't realize the amount of work you're doing because you're not documenting the thing. They just see the end result. So that's kind of the origin, the baby of this series, and we're very excited to bring it to you guys.
Exactly. I also think it gives a little insight to our attendees of some of the thoughtfulness and, that we put into the actual vision that comes to life. So many times I think it's like, oh gosh, here it is, but you don't understand all of the little steps and details that we do in thinking about our attendees, both in person and virtual. So I think it gives a little insight into that as well. Now, I don't know if we will be talking about specific financial numbers. I don't know if y'all are ready for those yet in this year's series, maybe 2027. But we'll definitely talk about how we chose the venue.
We'll actually have some videos at the venue, right? We'll do some of this series actually at the venue.
Exactly.
And around the city. And like I said, it's going to be very fun. At the very fun series is definitely something that you're going to want to kind of bookmark, whether you're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You're definitely going to want to kind of bookmark the series so you can kind of see, all right, I see where they are at when they started this thing. And mind you, we're doing this. We started in January. We could have started this series probably last year, right? Like that's how much work.
And probably April 14th, because last year's conference ended April 13th, I believe. And April 14th is when we officially started gearing up for year 6. But come beginning of April, Bear is usually already thinking about the next year. So he was already in deep for this year's conference, as well as our conference planner as well for 2026 last April. So we actually start a year in advance with a lot of the work we do, especially our venue and getting into contract with the venues and things of like that. Usually we're in contract with the venue before you guys even come to the actual conference. So we've already started that process before so like when you guys come April 17th through the 19th for the 6th annual.
And I know y'all see that link scrolling across. Yes, you can get your tickets right now.
Yes.
You just missed early bird session. Mm-hmm. You just missed early bird session. But you should get this now, right? Don't wait till the end.
Don't wait. Yeah, so by the time you guys come April 17th through the 19th, we will more than likely already be in negotiations for 2027. So the planning starts a year in advance, and then come now January, we're actually kind of getting the last and final details in order, and all the other great things that you will see. So what else do we want to talk about today in regards to Vision to Venue 2026?
Yeah, no, I think especially as we kind of lead, especially for this introductory conversation, I want to dive a little bit deep into kind of how we get to year 2. And like I said, we're definitely getting into specifics, but I definitely want to get into how we got to year 2, or more importantly, just year 1, right? Like, what was our thought process? And when we say, you know what, we should go from the virtual to the in-person. So I do want to talk about, like, what was it to go virtual, right? Like, what was that like process even like to go virtual? I remember this was, especially if you heard the story, this was a conversation me and Maria had where, like, we just kind of thought at the whim, more me. I was like, you know what? Like, I think we should do a conference, right? And of course, Maria was like, I don't know if people will come. Right? We didn't know if people would come because we were still, and we realized, especially in this journey, right? This Black autistic journey, that the circle is so big, but the megaphone wasn't loud enough, right? Like not enough people knew what was going on. Not enough people knew who was around, and what we thought was a very small circle turned out to be a very big circle. So when we say, hey, you know what, we want to do a conference, the amount of people who say, yes, I'm willing to sit in my living room or my home or at work or wherever to visualize the conference, what's taken back for us. So I definitely want to kind of let you chime in on there, just kind of think about like the transition, like when we said, you know what, we're at no conference to virtual.
Yeah. So like Barry said, it was, him saying, I think we need to get the information on a larger scale. Because at that point, we just had our podcast, and I was really doing a lot of just virtual trainings, but nothing on that scale. And he was like, I think we need to do this conference thing. And I was like, I don't know. Mind you, we hadn't done any events prior to that.
None.
Not one autism. So all the Autism in Black events and things that we do now, we had not done. I think we maybe had done a webinar, and that was it. And I was like, I don't know. So it was like, okay, well, let's do it. And it wasn't like we were planning a year in advance. This was probably like, January, we said we're going to do a conference in April. And we didn't have any of the conference platforms, none of that. I basically talked to my colleagues and friends and said, hey, I want to do a conference. Will you speak? And yes, my friends said yes. So they agreed, and we did it all on Zoom with one link. And Barry did his funnel thing. I was like, yeah, we're going to get 30 people there. It'll be, a nice little intimate thing. And we had over 200 people come to the first conference. In my mind, I was like, let's go ahead and do this little thing, get it off here. And then we don't have to worry about this no more type of, I was not planning on a year 2, 3, 4, get to 6. So 200 people showed up, were engaged that whole time. And I think the first year of the conference, we did not do 3 days. I think it was like a 2-day event, like a Saturday and a Sunday. So it wasn't a 3-day event. It wasn't no VIP day. It wasn't any of that. It was just everybody is the same level of admission and we're getting on for these 2 days. And, or was it a 1 day? I can't remember if it was 1 day or 2 day, but it definitely wasn't the time it is now. And the response was just mind blowing to me because I did not expect that many people. You can ask my sister girl bestie Cheryl Poe. I told her we're probably going to have 30 people.
She's been with us since
year one conference. I was like, we're going to have probably 30 people. And when we hit the 30, I was like, okay, we're going to have a little more than 30 people. When we hit the 50, when we hit the 100, when we hit the 150, I was like, okay, this is bigger than what I thought it was going to be. So on the back end, because it was just me and Barry doing this. On the back end, Barry had to do a lot of adjustments and getting the editing all of the actual sessions, getting them into this hub that we were going to give. So there was a lot of technical work that him and I were doing to make sure that the 200 people were getting, what we promised them. So it was mind blowing.
Yeah, no, and I think it's especially important, especially for our entrepreneur and business friends who may be thinking about like, hey, I want to do a conference. Trust me, don't do like us, right? Like I think because we were kind of like, we'll just do it, we'll just see how it does. We were definitely not prepared at the response. And I think as an entrepreneur, a lot of times we have this message that we don't think people are listening until we say, hey, this is our message. And then you realize how many people are listening. So I want to say that because I don't want our entrepreneurs to not want to dive into kind of the live session of your message, right? Like, I think it's extremely important. And like I said, you're going to see during this whole series over the next few months, how important it is to kind of have a message and a venue for your message. Because not only have we been able to get the message of Autism in Black, the org, Maria, out to the world, right? But the amount of speakers, right, who have been able to come through Autism in Black and come through and have a venue to speak, right, and have a voice, and the amount of parents, the amount of professionals who've now been able to look and see, wow, I see like a direction, a future that I did not see before, has been absolutely amazing. And like I said, we're going into year 6 and it just continues to kind of build and build. And every year people are like, oh, I didn't even know like y'all are around, which is, I love to hear, because that lets me know, all right, we still got work to do, because there's still a lot of people, all right, who need to hear this message.
Exactly. So yeah, that first year was basically us just flying by the seat of our pants. Year 2, we started to get a little bit more organized. We introduced the Hoover platform, the conference platform. We did a call for proposals. We started our marketing much earlier. And what I will have to say is, when we started call for proposals year 2, I also wasn't expecting the amount of proposals we get every year. Now I'm expecting it because of, the response that we get. But we get over 100 proposals for conference. And we usually only have 8 live slots and 8 pre-record spots. So 16 total speaker slots that we have, and we get over 100 proposals. And that is something that I had to learn to step away from. So I'm not on the actual proposal committee because I want to accept everyone. And we don't have the budget nor the time for that. So I'm not even on the conference the proposal committee, it is a blind committee that sees the proposals, and then based on a rubric that has been created, they are accepted. And then when it's the final list, that's where I come in and see. But yeah, I'm not even, so for those of you who are like, put it in the comments, like, I want to speak and da-da-da-da, I'm not even on the first committee. So please make sure you are, when you see our call for proposals, you're getting it in, and understand that we do our best to make sure we are selecting new people that messaging aligns with the theme that year. And if you don't get selected, no hard feelings. There's always another chance because we have many events.
Mm-hmm. So, and I love that, right? Because one thing you kind of mentioned is that like sometimes the budget, right? And that's one thing we were very kind of keen on, especially with the first year with the speakers looking out for us. We wanted to make sure that our speakers got paid too, right? Like we wanted to make sure that, you know, their time wasn't, you know, just for like fun, right? Because we know a lot of conferences like to take our message, like to take our words of power, but not compensate for us. Compensate us for. So we wanted to kind of change that as well too, and that's something that we obviously continue to build year and year. Again, especially now that we got it in person, right? People get flown in, people get hotel stay, like it's crazy.
They get the food.
Yeah, it's crazy what happens now. And again, it's just, and obviously it's a blessing to even get to this point where we can say like, all right, yep, this is another roadblock. So again, we're very excited to kind of have this kind of continued progressive conversation, especially as we move into like the transition for what prompted us to get into in person, right? I think we'll save that for tomorrow, but like I definitely want this episode, one, to obviously serve as the introduction, but two, kind of get the understanding of like, all right, where are they come from? Because I know there's someone who's going to watch this and has never seen us before.
Yes,
I love that. Right, someone's like, this is the first time I'm seeing something autism and Black related. Who are these two folks on TV or on my social, wherever we happen to be at? And we're, like I said, we're glad to meet you guys. Make sure obviously you follow Maria on all of her socials. Instagram, looks like I'm saying Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Make sure you follow her on all her socials. Sign up for our newsletter to get, make sure you're staying up to date. Check the link across the bottom to join us for the conference, right? Because like I said, we're gonna be talking for a few months about this conference. You should probably join us to be there, and it is an in-person and virtual, which was something we'll talk about a little bit later. But it is in person and virtual, so definitely want to make sure you're there.
Exactly. April 17th through the 19th, you can go to autismandblack.org/links, and it'll have a series of links. One, if you want to be an attendee, another, if you want to be a vendor as well. And we'll talk about that on another episode of this series about our vendors and things of that nature. But make sure you're joining us. We are going to have an amazing time. As we progress through this series, you'll see some of the surprises and things that we have in store for our attendees, both in person and virtual. So when you go to the actual conference page, make sure you are reading your ticket selection to make sure that if you want to be in person, you are selecting that in-person ticket. If you want to be virtual, you are selecting that virtual ticket. No matter if you are in person or virtual, both get lifetime access to all of the conference recordings. Both are live in-person sessions and our pre-recorded sessions. But yeah, make sure you are joining us April 17th through the 19th, either here in Palm Beach, which in Florida, sunny, warm Florida. I know there's other places that are not so warm right now. It is like 60, 70 degrees here, and that is our cold weather.
I gotta say, it's not as sunny. It's not as sunny right now. It's a little chilly.
A little chilly. It's sunny, but still chilly. But yeah, so we're dealing with our version of cold weather right now, but it'll be beautiful weather come April, or attend online virtually from wherever you are, because I know we have a lot of international attendees as well. And shout out to our I think I want to say that before we go. Shout out to all of our international attendees that come from Kenya and the UK and, wherever that you're tuning in from. We appreciate you so much. And we're so excited that our mission has spread that far. So thank you for all of your support. If you've ever attended an Autism in Black event, thank you. If you're coming to see us in April 17th through the 19th, thank you, because we couldn't do it without all of you. So I want to make sure to let you all know we are so appreciative. So until tomorrow, where we talk about the next step in our Vision to Venue series, I hope you enjoyed this little introductory episode, and I hope you follow along until April 16th, which will be the last episode for this year's series. And then April 17th, we're going live, and you'll actually see, hopefully you're in the room or online, seeing what goes on for the actual conference.
Indeed.
All right. Have a good one, and we'll see you tomorrow.